deep off in there.
Oh, yeah?
Chrissy,
Okay.
can you please give me some more champagne and give me another mimosa, baby? Are y'all learning anything over there?
Learning a lot.
That's good.
Next question.
Okay.
I love her interaction with people, for all the viewers out there. Listen,
Here, baby. 01 hustle.
this is something that I want to touch on. Family. As viewers may know or may not, I've seen your mother. I've seen your mother in some of your videos. You talk about your mom. You talk about the Lord, religion. Obviously, you was raised in a religious home, religious family. So we're not going to too much touch into that. But first of all, describe your mother to me.
My mother is everything. My mother is the ultimate woman to me. My mother raised us by herself. My mother has never slept around with different men. She's always respected us as growing up being boys. My mother has taught my other two brothers how to treat women.
Mm-hmm.
My mother is now disabled. Like, she had an accident on her job and she's disabled. She has rheumatoid arthritis. And my mother is down. And just like, she's still strong. And like, in February of 2012, when we lost my aunt,
Mm-hmm.
that changed my mom. My mom is different. Her spirit is broken. My mother's spirit is so broken right now. And I hate the fact that she lives in Miami and I live here in Atlanta, because I feel like she feels that she's alone, because her and her sister, my aunt was like everything to me. Like,
Okay, your aunt. It's okay. What's your aunt's name?
my aunt is Darlene.
Darlene.
Here, right here.
So
Right.
describe, that's Darlene. That's your mother's sister?
That's my mother's sister. That's my mother's only sister.
Okay.
Even when me and my mother were having problems, like, as if my mother's is Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very hard for her in the beginning to cope with the fact that I was changing at a young age and gay and stuff like that. Like, this lady right here.
Did she always know you were gay before you transitioned?
She said she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
She said she didn't. But
Did your aunt know?
They say they didn't, but I just think that they turned a blind eye to it. I
Okay.
just think that because my grandfather was saying that he's gonna be like this. My granddad, he's still alive.
Funny.
Too. And my granddaddy said he's gonna be like this. You gotta watch him, Louise, because he gonna be like this, and you keep doing this certain stuff. And I have to say this: if my mother ever watch him, she is not the cause of me being this way. She's not, because sometimes parents feel like they failed as a parent when their child is
Yes,
gay.
they do feel like that.
Or they've transitioned. And it's no failure on the part. It is what
You were born this way.
it was a part of the genetic makeup. I can say that I do agree with what the scripture says about that you were not born a certain way. And I agree with when man says you were born a certain way. Here's why I have a conflicting agreements. The Bible states that we were born in sin. So, therefore, we can be born into being homosexual. That's the way I feel. Because we were born from the sins of Adam and the sins of Eve. We were born under that. So, biblically, you can say, okay, well, you were not born, because the people will say, oh, you weren't born like that. You was. But look at children from the ages of 2 and 3 and 4 and growing. I used to work in a group home, and I used to see the kids growing up. I said, oh my God, this one is gay, but he was born. We were conceived in a sinful nature, so of course we were born under that, But my aunt was more. She was more accepting. She was more. And I lived with her. I lived with her the majority of my life. Me and my mom started to become super close when I was graduating high school, and I was really struggling with my identity like during that period, and I couldn't take people calling me gay, and I was 17, still going through transition and going, it was so much going on, and parents and people have to understand that is the most fragile time in a child's life, is that period of time, because you're under pressure from your peers, you're under pressure from yourself, because your mind is flipping around, because you're trying to wonder why was this, why me, why was I chosen for this task, what is it, why me? And this lady is,
How did your aunt embrace you differently than your mom?
well, My aunt embraced me differently because she and we had a strong bond. My mother was working three jobs, and my aunt was taking care of me while my mother was at work. My aunt taught me how to drive. My aunt taught me how to be a motherfucker. My aunt taught me how to be tough. Cause she was not a lesbian, but she was tough. She was a tough,
strong black woman.
And I love her. Mm-hmm. And it's like now, all these accomplishments are going on in my life, and she's not here to see. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And it just,
but do you believe that she is seeing it right now?
Honestly, I just believe that she walks with me with certain things. You know, I'd have small conversations with her. And I've come to a point now where I'm like, okay, well, everything happens for the will. It's the will. And by me loving her so much, and my mom loving her so much, I think God removed that for us to anticipate a reunion in the afterlife. That's just how I feel. And I mean, I love her to death. So you just don't know. Like she was.
So what happened? How did she pass?
She was 48.
Too young.
Very young. We were on the phone talking. And she had, and this is why, let me say this too. We're so worried about HIV and AIDS and all this stuff. We don't take care of ourselves health-wise as far as diabetes, heart disease. We're African-American people, and that's what we suffer from. We suffer from those type.
Hypertension, high blood pressure.
All that, you know.
Heart issues, heart disease.
We so focused on the power that we forget about everything else. And she had congestive heart failure. But it just happened out the blue. Like this was some shit that just happened out of the blue. I was talking to her on the telephone the night before. She died Thursday, February 23rd, 2012. I was talking to her on the telephone, and I was talking to my mom. And my mom was at her house. And I just wish today that I just would have just like really just... Her son stole her credit card from her. And this is very personal, but I the only way people will be able to understand you if they know you in total. Her son stole her credit card from her and ran it up $1,000 fucking dollars. And my mom was at her house, and I guess she opened the mail up late that night, and she called my mom. She's like, Lou, do you know this boy that ran up my credit card $1,000? And my aunt's heart was so big, like mine was so big. Like I had just called her and asked her to help me with something like $1,000. Say, girl, can you give me $1,000 and I'll just give it back to you on Monday? Mm-hmm. She didn't ask no question. She didn't hesitate because that wasn't her. She was, and if I could strive to be like any person, it would be her. Mm-hmm. And my mom. She was working on her house, and she was trying to get her house together because her birthday is March 21st. She died February 23rd. Her birthday was March 21st. So she was trying to get her house together because she was going to have a nice party for her birthday. And she didn't waste no time. She gave me $1,000, and I never got a chance to really give it back because everything just happened so fast. And she was so angry. My mama said she went over there. And she was so angry, And she said her hands were shaking like this and her feet were shaking. And she said, Lou, this boy is never going to be able to take nothing from me again. Because today is the last day he's going to... You never know when people are talking or what's their last words or what. You just never know. 5 o'clock that morning, my mom said she was so afraid. She said, Boo, I'm so scared. And me and my mom talked for a long time on the phone. She said, Boo, I'm so scared because... the way she said it's gonna chill over me. And I was like, Mom, don't worry about this stuff, girl. I'm gonna call her and talk to her, and she'll probably calm down from all of that stuff. And she did. Like that morning, I was on the telephone. My mom frantic, Boo! I'm trying to get my clothes on, and I hear her in the background dying. She couldn't breathe. Like, I think when she laid down that night, because she was a bitch, she was a strong bitch. She was crying on the inside. Mm-hmm. And it was so much...
Sometimes that's the worst pain.
She died with a broken heart. Mm-hmm. There was so much fluid around the heart. It was so much fluid. And that's how I say, Mama, you know, I hear in the back, she say, Lou, I can't breathe. So I'm like, hello? Like, Mom, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody called an ambulance. My mother was frantic. It's her only sister. Only sister. My mother was just frantic, losing her mind. And I just was like, I didn't know this was the end. I didn't know it, Caesar. I didn't know this was the end. I just was praying like, God, please no. Not today. Not right now. Not just right now. Like this, the year just started. We just had Christmas together. She died February, dog. I just left from down there. I was coming back for, this is what I was saying, God, no, not now, not now. And they put her in the ambulance. My mother was too frantic. My brother, the phone hung up. My brother called me from the car because my mother and my aunt didn't live about 10, 15 minutes away from each other. My brother called me from the car. He said, well, he called me by my name. He said, Tim, she's in the car and she's laying back like this and they got a tube in her, but she's not responsive. And I said, well, is the lights on it? They said no. And I've worked in the hospital and stuff like that, and I know when the lights are not on, they're dead. I know that. And I just was like, no, it's just not maybe. And they wouldn't let my mom get in the car, in the back of the ambulance with her. I was like, no. And I said, well, are they pulling off? Are they turning the lights on? He said, yeah, they turning them on, and then they turned them off when they got down the road. I was like, oh. So they got to the hospital. They were walking around, and my mom said, boo, I've been walking around for the longest. I haven't heard any update and stuff like this. And she said, I'm about to go ahead to the back and see. When I saw my brother's number calling me, I knew she was dead. I knew for a fact that she was gone. Because my mother said she would not be able to tell me. And when she died, Caesar, it's just like I walked around my room in a circle. Because, you know, when you love somebody so much and that type of stuff happened, I couldn't believe it. Like, that this was the strongest person I ever met in my life. Like, this was the strongest person that I ever met.
You don't even think that death is possible.
She can't die. I was like, she can't die. She cannot die. Like, she can't die. What am I going to do? Like, who am I going to tell my problems to? Like, how can I tell my secrets? Because there are secrets that I won't tell my mom because my mother's Aries and she's so emotional. She's so emotional. When my brother called me, he was crying. I hear my mom in the background just praying and praying and praying and praying. And I'm so glad that I was not actually there physically because I wouldn't have came back from that. To actually see that, like, I wouldn't have came back. I saw her. I flew down that same morning and I saw her the day of the wait. They let me put her makeup on and they let me, you know, that's the last time that's when I actually got to see her. And then when I was looking at her, I had a different perspective on death when I saw her. Because when she was laying there, it wasn't her. It wasn't her. And I really at that point found out that this is irrelevant. All of this stuff, all of the outer shell. This is a shell. Like, the spirit is outside of the body. The spirit is gone because the body is nothing now. It was hard, it was cold, and you know what I'm saying? It was just the spirit is gone. And I looked around the room and I was like, are you here? Are you in here? Are you near? Are you somewhere? And my girlfriend started putting her hair in, and when she started curling her hair, I saw her. Like, I saw her face, and I just was crying and crying and crying. You know, I've come to a point where I can talk freely about it without really being sobbing because I've accepted that.
Mourning and grief takes time.
It does. But I've also...
It's a process. People don't... There's many layers to it, and you go through sadness and anger. And,
yes.
Almost like content when
I
you know...
was angry with her kids.
The memories.
I was angry with my cousins. I was angry with them because even after she passed on, there was a lot of things that I found out that was going on over there in the house that she never talked about, that I was so angry. Like, I feel like they killed her. That's how I felt. Like, y'all killed her. Y'all killed her. Y'all killed her. And then she was a bitch that was getting her money. She was the money lady. And she worked jobs and she stacked money. all y'all was after was her fucking money. That's how I felt. Like, that's all y'all wanted was her money. That's all y'all wanted her to die so y'all could have her money. So y'all could just be around here. And Caesar, my cousins, one of them, two of them, she got 3 kids. The first week after they got some of their money, they blowed up like almost $70,000. I was just like, I was there from the time that she worked and worked and worked and worked and paying insurance and had putting stocks in her job, and y'all just gonna run through her stuff like that. Like, this wasn't $70,000 split. This was, one had 70, one had 68, one had. Then she had other monies that she had stuff like she left me money too. Mm-hmm. But I still, to now, she's been there 2 years. I have about 5,000 of that money, that money that she left me. I have about 5,000 of that left. That's sacred to me. Mm-hmm. That stuff is sacred. Like her gold chain here, that stuff is sacred. Her telephone, that stuff is sacred to me because you can't get this back. Mm-hmm. And we as individuals don't cherish. We cherish goods and not people. People are irreplaceable.
So there's one thing that you could tell her right now before we close this segment. What would it be, honestly, from your heart?
That I love her, and that I just hope that she's proud of everything that I'm doing, and that my life is changing, and that I would just want her to be with me all the way till it's time for us to meet each other again. And that I just want to be the same type of person that she was, to make people feel special, to touch lives, mean something to people, and I just want her to be so proud. I just want her to be proud of me, and that I miss her so much. I do.